Hello everyone, you're welcome to this channel. In this video, we are given this equation and then we want to find the value of n from this equation. So if today is your first time on our channel, don't forget to like, subscribe and then comment as well. Now we were given 1 plus I exponent n is equal to 1 minus I all exponent n. So what we are going to do first is that we are going to divide through by the right hand side. So we are going to divide through by the right hand side. So this will take care of this, leaving 1 over 1, which is equal to 1. So here we are going to have 1 plus I all exponent n all over 1 minus I all exponent n is equal to 1. Now we have same exponent, so we can factorize the exponent out. So let's do that. So we are going to have 1 plus I all over 1 minus I all exponents n is equal to 1. And then from here, I'm going to multiply what is inside the bracket by 1. So I'm going to multiply 1 plus I all over 1 minus I times 1, all exponent n to be equal to 1. And however, I can express 1 as 1 plus I over 1 plus I. So this will cancel out this, so it's going to give us 1. So I'm going to replace 1 by 1 plus I over 1 plus I. So I'm going to have 1 plus I all over 1 minus I times 1 plus I all over 1 plus I. All exponent n is equal to 1. And from here, when we multiply, we are going to have 1 multiplying 1 plus I multiplying 1 plus I all over 1 multiplying 1 plus I minus I multiplying 1 plus I. All exponent n is equal to 1. And so from here we are going to have, now when we multiply 1 by this bracket, we are going to have 1 plus I. And then when we multiply I by this bracket, we are going to have I plus I squared all over. And then from here, when we multiply 1 by this bracket, we are going to have 1 plus I. And then when we multiply negative I by this bracket, we are going to have minus I squared. All exponent n is equal to 1. And so from here, we are going to have 1 plus I gives 2I plus I squared all over 1, and then I minus I is 0, so we are going to be left with minus I squared. All exponent n is equal to 1. Now by the definition of complex numbers, I squared can be expressed as I times I, which is equal to negative 1. So wherever we see I squared, then we put negative 1 over there. We are going to have, so we have 1 plus 2I, then we have I squared, and I squared is negative 1, so minus 1 all over 1 minus, and then we have I squared, and I squared is negative 1, so negative 1 here. All exponent n is equal to 1. And from here we have 1 minus 1, which is going to give us 0, so we are going to have 2I at the top all over, and then here negative times negative is going to give us positive, so 1 plus 1 gives us 2. All exponent n is equal to 1. Now let me clean this side. So here 2 can cancel out 2, so you are going to be left with I exponent n is equal to 1. So how do we find n from this equation? Now we are left with I exponent n is equal to 1. So how do we find n over here? Now let's look at something. When we have I squared, we can express this as I times I, which is equal to -1. Now when we have I to the power 3, we can express this as I times I, which we can also express this as I times I squared. And I squared gives -1. So you are going to have I times -1. And -1 times I gives -I. So what about I to the power 4? So I to the power 4 also can be expressed as I times I times I times I. And in this case, we can also express this as I squared times I squared. And I squared, from what we know, is -1 times another I squared, which is -1. So -1 times -1 gives 1. And so I to the power 4 is equal to 1. And since we know I to the power 4 to be equal to 1, we can replace 1 with I to the power 4. So when we do that, we are going to have I to the power n is equal to I to the power 4. And since the bases are the same, we are going to equate the exponent. And when we do that, n will be equal to 4. So the value of n from this equation is equal to 4. So n is equal to 4. Thank you for watching. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and then comment as well.